There you are. Hey, this is Kurt Von Onen. Welcome to another episode of the Mañana morning check-in. Today is June 1st, 2021. I can barely believe it myself. But as we take a look at the month that just passed us by and some of the steps and some of the things that we've done together as a group, as a community, I think kind of commendable, right? We just finished up the 5 days of Healthy Success Challenge. We did that last week. We had a couple of ebooks that were shared among our community. And as far as Mañana goes, launched a couple of projects and forged forward on a couple of projects that I was super excited about. I think back to, and I'm going back 2-3 weeks now, Tony Robbins and Dean Gracioni, they did their challenge and we kind of sat in on that as a community. I encourage people to kind of check that out. And I'm looking at things from a different perspective. I'm trying to say, how does the challenge connection fit into all of these challenges that are coming out, right? Now, when I did the 5-day to healthy success, I specifically did not run that in the challenge connection. And I actually had somebody hit me up on that. They go, dude, you own the challenge connection. Why didn't you put this in the challenge connection, right? Because I ran it through the academy at Mañana. So, and here's my thinking. I'm trying to add value to the community. I'm trying to pressure-free add value to the community, right? So I made the course, I made the challenge free. And then I kept it off of the challenge connection because that is something that I'm actively trying to promote as a leg of my business. So I wanted to kind of draw that line in the sand and say, look, I'm not trying to force you into challenge connection. Let's just do this challenge together as a group and go from there. Now, if you participated in that, or you know someone that did, or you know someone that wants to build their own challenges, well then take a look at that experience, right, of going through that course day by day and doing the activities and reporting in and sharing your comments. Take a look at how that worked and then go, wow, how would that work in a site specifically designed to host challenges and grow communities using challenges, right? And that's what the challenge connection brings to the table. So I'm looking at the last month and I got to tell you, I'm pretty happy about it. I know that, and this is human nature, and this is something I kind of want to talk about today. I'm trying to do it in a first person sense, but I want you to kind of experience what I'm saying for yourself, right? Especially in this community that we're putting together here with Mañana. There's a lot of driven people in here. There's a lot of people that are like, well, I wrote this essay, I did this blog, I'm writing this book, but I'm not getting enough done. I'm not, and you just feel pent up because you don't feel like you're doing enough. I go through this all the time. I'm looking at everything I was doing. I was doing the daily email. I'm doing the daily Mañana morning check-in. I'm posting things to LinkedIn. I'm maintaining multiple Facebook accounts. I've got all this stuff going on, right? On top of that, doing all these projects with these things and orchestrating, working with team members, right? To try and make sure that everything that we have farmed out for Mañana is coming together and gelling properly, right? And it is. And at the end of the day, I'm like, man, I just didn't get enough done today. And you got to be careful doing that. And that's why I go back to, if you take a look at all of these things I have in the Mañana Academy about goal setting and key performance indicators and all of these core training subjects that I have in there, a lot of that focus is on, mark your milestones, right? Mark your milestones, recognize your wins, celebrate your wins, don't forget to take those snapshots along the way so that you can monitor the growth that you don't necessarily feel. And I think that that's super important. And especially just the way I said it, right? It's to monitor the growth that you don't actually feel. You might feel unproductive. You might feel like you're not getting enough done. You might feel like you're not getting enough growth in your market share. You might not feel like you've built relationships with enough customers. But if you were to take a snapshot image of where you were 3 months ago and that snapshot image of where you are today, right? And go, where was I here? And where am I here? Well, then you would start to go, oh, wow, I got a lot done. You know, I grew my network by this many. I made this much in sales. I grew my finances by this much. I lowered my expenses by this much. You know, it's having those snapshots. You can go, boom, where was I? Where am I? Where was I? Where am I? Now here's the killer, right? For proper goal setting, you want to go, where was I? Where am I? And where am I going, right? And so then I have a reasonable expectation of where you're going, helps you to set those next milestones. So as you achieve those milestones, you give yourself a break. You might have seen it's one of my most popular social posts. I got a picture of a dude just kind of standing in a silhouette, and it says, "Give yourself a break," right? And it's so weird. I put that up on social, just says, give yourself a break. And I scheduled it up to go like every 5 days or something for 2 months, right? Because I thought, well, I don't know why, but this one's speaking to me. So I put it up there. And every time it posts, you know, it gets tons of likes, shares, all kinds of stuff. And that's because driven people, secret, driven people don't give themselves a break very often, right? So give yourself a break, recognize the wins, and then know that you can move forward. Now, as far as other things go, things that I want to update you about, things that I want to keep forward on, I sent out a email yesterday, the daily email, send it out. And it's not the daily email anymore. It's the weekly email, right? So I wanted to be clear. I think I said something on the video yesterday about it, but on the Mañana no Mas morning check-in, I'm going to keep this alive. I love checking in via video. I like sharing it with the LinkedIn group, you know, and I like keeping that solid, right? But I started to recognize that day after day after day after day, I was getting the same, you know, small group of people that would open the daily email almost every day. And part of me felt like I didn't want to disrupt positive messaging for those people, right? But there's an overwhelming number of people that weren't opening the email every day. And what that tells me is when they start to see the name Mañana no Mas pop up in their email, they go, delete, right? And they're being nice and they're staying on the list, which is probably the worst thing ever to do to somebody, right? Because a marketer like me doesn't want you on my list if you don't want to be there. I'm putting out material that I think is value added for people. I'm trying to bring value to anyone that gets on the email list, right? And so, in fact, I had like a 6,000 member email list that I trashed over a year ago and started from scratch, right? Less than 100 people. I'm like, well, let's just start over. Let's just work with people that want to be communicated with, right? And so I personally believe that, you know, while grow your email list is a great message, it's a fantastic, and it makes a lot of sense. I believe you need to grow an email list of people that want to be on it, right? And so I started from scratch over a year ago and started building this list, this community. And what I picture is this community where people interact and people communicate and reciprocate for one another. And that's why I encourage things like Zoom night out, right? Zoom night out where we get together and we just get on a video call, have an adult beverage and just chat, sales free, right? Just chat, tell stories, joke around, last about an hour, hour and a half, and then poof, we're out of there. In fact, next Thursday, I believe, because I haven't put it on the Facebook page yet, but I think next Thursday, maybe next Friday, we'll do the Zoom night out again, right? And that's just, hey, it's been a while. Let's get together, grab a beer, let's tell some stories, and see each other face to face, even if it's through Zoom, and just touch base, right? Just have a human interaction, and not a meeting, not a conference call, but just have a get together. So we'll be doing that, folks. I can't believe it's June. I'm right back to that again. I can't believe it. The amount of time that we have spent adjusting to a remote work environment, the amount of time that we have spent, you know, wondering, well, how are we going to onboard people? How are we going to share information with people? Now, I'm thankful that I have membership and learning site creation skills, and I'm stoked that I'm able to help people with those types of projects. But can you believe Can you believe COVID launched when it did? Now, I'm not going to turn this into one of my political talks, right? Because I'm doing that on the kurtvonanen.com site and I'm keeping politics out of this. But from a business perspective, can you believe it's June 1st, 2021, and we're still looking at empty offices all over the place? Now, I know some states have already opened up, and you might be hearing this message and going, what is Kurt talking about? But you got to remember, I'm in Southern California, so things are a little bit different in Southern California. And it's unique. It really is. It's part of me was excited. I was like, this could be the best time for me. I work online. I show people how to communicate online. I show people how to grow training products online. Like, this is really bad news that's good for me, right? But if I was more transparent, I think I would be honest and just say, maybe I missed the mark. Maybe I didn't push hard enough. Maybe I didn't, go door to door for people that weren't there. How to do that, right? But didn't push hard enough to say, hey, I can make your training products. I can put your HR materials online. I can do all these things, and I can, but maybe I just didn't push hard enough. I know that as Mañana No Mas continues to strive forward, and we move forward with a lot of the digital marketing messages, and we move forward with our membership and learning platforms, I know that this is going to continue to grow. People kept saying new normal, new normal, new normal. And a lot of people resent that. A lot of people don't like that. But in terms of what I do, in terms of what I bring to the table, why not be a new normal? Because the idea of being a large company and hiring somebody on the East Coast to represent your office that's on the West Coast, and then flying them to the West Coast and walking them around your business for a week and having them spend a day with HR and a day with this vice president and a day with this vice president and a day in shipping and a day in the warehouse and a day in production and a day with the sales team, it doesn't make any sense. What makes sense is digitize that information, give them a secure user account, have them sign in, and then they sign in and go through the material, right? And then you do a live Zoom support call once they finish the material, and you answer any questions, and you can give them a knowledge check, and you can kind of just make sure that they're onboarded and ready to go. And then you put them to work. And then you use the online tools that everyone is already familiar with, right? Whether you're using Teams, Google Meet, Zoom, Skype, whatever it is that you're using, you're able to communicate with your team in a very direct way at distance. And you don't have to pay for all that travel back and forth. It's physically and emotionally exhausting for the people involved, and it's expensive. So if we can, kind of just rethink the way that we do these things, I think that we're going to find that we come out ahead in the long run. So much here to talk about, and all the other stuff that's on my mind that clogs the wheels, that'll be on the other channel. Have yourselves a good one. I love y'all. Have a great day. Bye-bye. And enjoy the month of June.